Hi everyone, MattTheBat here, the internet's busiest bullshit bat, and today we're gonna be simping over the one and only.
Finally here, Tano. Toothany Stacks Tano. Nothany Stash Tano. Jestany Stop Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd.
I literally don't know how this dude is still coming up with these names after all these years. I mean, I consider myself a fairly creative person, and I couldn't come up with one any more creative than MattTheBat, whatever the f I said before. Reveal your secrets, Melon. Hello, welcome back everybody, and if you're new here, I'm MattTheBat from MattTheBat's Bat Shit Show, and this is the Simp series. It's a feel-good series where I geek out about all my favorite creators on the internet. I can't believe it's the third episode. It's insane. I guess time flies when you're kissing the asses of internet creators, huh? So, not that you give a damn, but I want to let you all know something pretty cool happened to me this week. As you might have seen, I did a video on the amazing MattTheBat, and the support was pretty insane. I got over 1,000 views on the video, which is a lot for me. I don't take that lightly, and I got so many new subs and followers, and one of those new followers on my Instagram happens to be someone I've looked up to for a really long time now. Like 8 years long. Like a third of my life long. And I might even go as far to say that this person was a pretty big inspiration for making the show. Yeah, Anthony Fantano followed me on the gram. I know! I was surprised too! Oh, shut up. What, you still mad about the fucking Weekend review from 2011? Shut up. Sit down. And while it's just a little follow on the internet, you know, I don't even know if you watched the video, but that small little organic follow was kind of the validation that I need that this format might just be working. And the funniest part of it all was I was already planning an episode around him because there's a bunch of simp about when it comes to old Fantano, especially since he's a fellow nutmegger. If you don't know what that means, maybe consider yourself lucky because it's a pointless fucking name, but we'll get into that, I promise. But first, I need to remind you to watch until the end. This one's long, I know, but I have a lot to say, so just let it play while you're doing your dishes or petting your dog or petting yourself. No, ew, what? Do not do that. Hit the subscribe button. I've got 300 subscribers right now, and you know, people will laugh me out of the room for that, but I am fucking proud of that number. Why not drop a comment and a like? Come on, it helps with the algorithm and it would put a smile on my face. Oh wait, I don't think this animated rig can smile yet. I gotta figure out how to do that. Alright, enough about me. Let's talk about the man himself. It's my new close and personal BFF, Instagram follower, Anthony Fantano. You almost definitely know this man from his extremely detailed and sometimes very controversial music reviews on his channel, The Needle Drop.
This album's bad. It's really bad.
From his humorous and brutally honest reviews to his unique branding and sort of irreplaceable and iconic place in the music world, there are a lot of factors that play into The Needle Drop, so I think Fantano's success and legacy make him definitely worth simping over. And you know, making this video is kind of risky for me. I mean, I know for a fact that I'll get some shit talking in the comments about simping over this dude for 20 minutes, but you know, it kind of comes with the territory of his profile. And because, you know, the dude is somehow so loved yet so hated. I mean, he says it himself, I'm not just saying that.
The internet has made it uncool to be a Fantano viewer and
"Aw, Fantano fans are whack. All they do is agree with everything Fantano says."
I mean, listen, the series is designed to uplift creators, and I'll preface this with I don't agree with like most of Fantano's general views, but this dude is certainly qualified and absolutely knows what he's talking about. He's a music critic. He critiques popular things. Yeah, I don't know why people are still having trouble understanding this. It's crazy, but if you stick around, I'll actually explain how this makes him kind of an absolute marketing genius. So why don't you shut the hell up for once, open your ears, and let's dive in. Anthony Fantano is a nutmegger, aka a person from Connecticut, much like myself. And if he's anything like me, he probably thinks that that's a dumb fucking name and that Pepe's Pizza is the best pizza on the planet, with Sally's as a very close second.
Reheated vegan pizza review.
Oh man, he's a vegan? Man, what's the point of living in Connecticut if you're vegan, bro? Come on. He originally started out as a kind of all-genre music connoisseur who worked as a director for SDSU, which is Southern Connecticut State University's radio station, and eventually went on to work for Connecticut's public radio, but eventually left to pursue his channel on The Needle Drop full-time, where he's been, you know, making videos ever since. On this channel, he consistently and impressively posts a lot of full album reviews, a weekly track roundup, a monthly album roundup of some of the albums he views to be, you know, just great and noteworthy, and a bunch of fun and topical videos in between those. And if you thought that was a lot, well, think again, because this dude has a second channel where he does even more videos ranging from interviews to some more traditional YouTube type videos like tier rankings, reaction reviews. The sheer volume of music that Anthony must listen to is just insane because there's a lot on here. I mean, the dude is busy and he's a music nerd. I mean, he wasn't joking. And when you look closely at the channel's numbers, it's pretty astounding. I mean, the channels together contain over 3.61 million subscribers, and I know this number is gonna sound made up, but I believe it's over 1 billion total views. I mean, what the f? And he also had a channel that he had deleted a while back, so that had even more. But when you think about the content and the regiment that Fantano has committed to over the past 12 or so years of having the channel, those numbers somehow make complete sense. I mean, his uploads are super formulaic in the sense that he follows an extremely consistent upload pattern, which you can just see by looking at the thumbnails. I mean, check it out. It's like best, worst tracks of the week, 4 to 5 album reviews, and then he sprinkles some other timely or fun videos, and he repeats. I mean, this pattern is the YouTube algorithm's wet dream, since it's clear they favor consistency or franchises or series, if you will. So it's kind of a winning combination in the end. But otherwise, there are a lot of things that play into his reviews, like humor, memes, skits, and some other pretty iconic branding pieces that really pull it all together. They build this really strong and recognizable culture behind the Needle Drop, and also just Fantano as like an entity and kind of just as a celebrity. So if it's still not ringing a bell, I mean, he's known for his reviewing system where he'll rate things, for example, like a strong 6 to light 7, and this really like super identifiable needle drop font and editing style, which I think he does all himself. And it's just honestly so cohesive, and anyone who's aware of him will like recognize that terminology just in a day-to-day conversation. Like I could say, oh, strong 10, and they'll know I'm talking about Fantano. And you could see that he's generated just such a look with all of these things together, like with his videos, thumbnails, and even his memes. And not only does this guy make some pretty funny memes, but now he's kind of just become a massive meme himself. And you see this when you read any of the comments, which are always filled with like insider jokes, calling him Melon, which is become his widely used and actually self-accepted nickname. He's got the legendary look with the glasses, the shaved head, the flannels, the backdrop. It's made him the subject of several parodies.
This is me. This is me. Where are his chiseled good looks?
And song mentions by artists, who I can't play because of copyright, but here's a little example. That was clean, Tony Fantano. All right, that was Zipper by Brockhampton. How'd I do? And it's through all this that he's gained the attention and friendships of some of the biggest names in music. I mean, just to name a few of the people he's interviewed on his Fantano channel: Phineas, Billie Eilish's producer Big Bro, Lil Nas X, Cole Bennett aka Lyrical Lemonade, Oliver Tree, JPEG Mafia, Julia Casablancas from The Strokes, Damon Albarn from Grills, and so many more just insanely big and important artists. But you know, as cool as these interviews are, nothing actually beats the Nardwuar interview where he's interviewing Fantano. And I gotta call your bluff, Fantano. You were playing it ultra cool. I know you were freaking out inside. How could you not?
What Connecticut city should he drop?
New Haven, Hartford, maybe a little bit of Danbury, some Bridgeport, some Waterbury.
And yeah, check it out. A little Connecticut shout out in that interview, which was pretty cool for me to hear as being someone who's from the New Haven area. And it's kind of awesome for me to think that Fantano still lives there. I love that. The 203 life, my guy. Oh, and just as like a fun little insert in this episode, I do want to tell you a fun Fantano story. So I grew up playing in bands in the Connecticut music scene, and it was just the most amazing and unique experience ever. Fantano will probably agree that like 2010 to 2015 were pretty special times for our state's music scene. I mean, it was back when Manic Productions were running the best shows at the Space, and Toad's Place with some incredible Connecticut bands like The Guru, High Pop, all those other Sea Green Records bands that I really looked up to growing up. Sorry, this doesn't mean a lot to most of you, but my point is, those years were kind of sick for our little community, and I had been to a couple shows with Mr. Fantano, not with him, like, you know, hanging out with him, but I saw him there, including one incredible Rat King and King Cruel show in 2013. And I can't lie, when I saw the dude there, I was a little pissed at him at the moment because I had just watched him on YouTube and he had, you know, talked some shit about my boy King Cruel in a review.
There's not really a solid tune coming out of any of it.
And my 17-year-old self was pretty angry. I mean, here I was. My entire young indie boy identity was compromised, all because this random melon head who he said that the 6 Feet Beneath the Moon was a light to decent 7, and I was angry. It was a 10 to me. But then after the show, he made a video where he was singing the praises of the performance he just saw, and I think that's when it hit me that like Fantano wasn't just some snob reviewing in his basement. I mean, he was somebody who really pays attention to the shit he listens to, and in that video, he was able to kind of encapsulate a performance that I didn't record on my phone. So it's almost like I can look back and think, wow, that was a sick show. His observations were spot on. I mean, King Cruel's drummer was tearing it up. You know, Archie's vocals were incredible. lyrical and super emotional, more so than on the album. And the fact that he can just kind of put this all together in his head and spit this out in a video is just, it's impressive. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is like that initial anger I had with Fantano when I was 17. I think that's like kind of part of the addiction to his reviews, like that little bit of outrage you feel from time to time when you hear his opinions. I mean, an example of this is sometimes I'll fall in love with an album and I'll generate my own opinion on it. And then I hear his and I think, oh man, he's right. Like, as much as I don't want to believe him about artists that I absolutely love, like Post Malone, who he generally doesn't really like, or Dominic Fike's new album, which he didn't really care about. I mean, I can't help but want to hear the things he's talking about and hear his opinions. It's both a blessing and a curse because, you know, now I hear a lot of the things he's talking about. For example, the production errors on What Could Possibly Go Wrong by Dominic Fike and Posty's Vibrato, which is a little too much on Hollywood's Bleeding compared to his other albums. And there, you know, sometimes you get sucked in and you think that something is so perfect and a masterpiece, and you kind of become blind to the imperfections. I mean, that's just for life. That's a thing in life. But with music, I think it's for people who are really interested in music and consider themselves like a music connoisseur. I think it's really good to kind of challenge our biases when we listen to music and train our ears a bit harder. But I will say the dude has a fetish for death grips, so you know if you're about to get into him, he's utterly biased with them, so just know that. And there's a lot of back and forth from consumers about, you know, what does this guy know, whatever, but come on, the dude's proved himself over the years to know what he's talking about. He listens to so much music, he makes so many videos, and like his general vernacular is so strong when it comes to describing sounds and patterns, and plus he's got the musical history knowledge to back up what he's hearing and explain, you know, the origins of a lot of these songs and music. And I always wonder how he can so eloquently evaluate those sounds that he hears. I mean, it's really a sign of his intelligence and his strong grasp on musical instruments and structures. And at the end of the day, whether you agree with his opinion or not, there's no denying that he knows what he's talking about. And what's really smart about him is over the years, he's learned to play into those controversial hot takes and has found a way to kind of market them with, you know, by being a little bit of a troll in some ways with franchises like Let's Argue, and a video he put out called like Most Hated Reviews, where he fully acknowledges that people either hate or want to argue with his opinion. And you know, it's essentially he's essentially using his thick skin to cash in on this. And obviously when you're a reviewer, you put yourself in a situation where you're actively arguing with strangers while they're simply watching your videos. They're not even part of the dialogue with you because it's one-way communicating, so the people are heated and will take it out in the comments. But I think the general charm of Fantano is the ability to just take it as it is and let it happen. And he acknowledges it. It's okay. I mean, for me, I have a high amount of respect for this as a creator myself because I'm extremely sensitive. Like, I get a thumbs down and, you know, 70 upvotes and I'm crying in my bed with a glass of warm milk and stuffed animal. Like, I respect the thick skin. And the thing is, Fantano's reviews are such a mix of humorous and harsh. I mean, he incorporates reoccurring fan favorite characters and jokes, like Cal, who's his funny roommate who pops into the Fantano universe from time to time, just to comment on things or, you know, be funny. And this humor is contrasted with some brutally honest and harsh reviews, so you don't know what you're getting with each video. Some of his opinions can be like this one, which was kind of very sad, but also kind of very accurate of a recent Green Day album.
Had I not been told this was a Green Day record, I would have just assumed it was some random, unsuccessful, just identity deficient group that would never, ever make it.
People think that this is just Fantano all the time, that he's just some angry guy, but I promise you it's really not all like this. I mean, a really sweet review, which is a good example of a more gentle and soft analysis, is when he's talking about Clairo's 2019 album, Immunity, and one of her songs where he reflects on some really sad and upsetting subject matter within the lyrics.
But what's actually haunting about this track, though, are the lyrics, where Claire seems to have someone in mind who has essentially pulled her back from the edge of suicide or self-harm, whether that be through just being there or like literally doing everything in their power to prevent it from happening.
And this is a pretty drastic comparison, and it explains why I like him so much as a reviewer. You've got to respect being so honest to the core and also having those redeeming moments of positivity. And I think that this shows his dynamics as not only a music reviewer, but also as just a good person. Oh, and another thing I realized while kind of diving deeper into Fantano is it seems like he really started taking this all pretty seriously when he was about 24, 25 years old. I got that from Wikipedia, but you know, I know you're not supposed to source that, but f*** it, it's my show, right? I can do what I want. But no, this small fact is kind of where I'm at in my creative journey. I mean, I just turned 25 years old and I'm sort of figuring out how much of a passion I have for this kind of thing, and I'm enjoying every second of it. So Anthony Fantano, fuck what the haters say. Thank you for being you. Thanks for the laughs, the anger, the brutal honesty, and most of all, thank you for following me on Instagram. Let's chat, let's DM, bro. I highly recommend that you all check out Anthony Fantano's reviews and go support his Patreon, because chances are he's probably reviewed like most of your favorite artists. And while I can't promise that you'll be happy with what he says about your favorite singer, someone you have an emotional connection to, he might body them, but I can tell you it will be a very interesting experience, and it might be nice for you to hear his opinion. So Fantano, to you, we simp. Transition. What'd you think about this last episode of the Simp series? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Well, don't tell me if you hated it, because as I said before, I'm too sensitive. So just drop a like and a comment and come back next week for the next installment of MattTheBat's Batshit Shit Show. I mean, I'm having a blast so far. I'm so pumped to talk about more of my favorite internet peeps. Tune in next week or else.